Alright guys, week 6, we have grime, dirt, filth, blood, all sorts of stuff in the environment now. Sorry I didn't get a video out of the last few weeks. I didn't count those weeks because I wasn't working on the project. I had to switch the time over that I would usually be spending on this project, so about 2 or 3 hours a day, or in evenings I get to work on this, like late at night. I had to use that time to work on some extra freelance and paid work so I could upgrade my machine. So I got 2 of these now in my system, 1080 Ti's, and they are awesome. Super fast, no complaints at all. These things are great. Yeah, so when I first installed these, actually, the fans weren't even working, and I thought, oh, I got some defective cards, but they weren't. They're literally, that's the way they are. They don't even turn on unless things are needed. So this card is pretty chill, and I'm really happy with it. Anyways, so I had to get those, and the reason was, as soon as I started to add the grime, things started to come to a crawl, and it was just down to the method I used and just basic laziness. I wasn't really willing to clean up all this, the geometry. Basically, all I did was duplicate the level and apply a grime texture all over it with some modifications to some UVs, and then use a push modifier on it to kind of make it sit on top of the level. And I thought it was going to work really well, and it did, but it just slowed down everything, and thus the reason for the upgrade. You can see here we got some Z fighting in Maya. That's not actually in Marmoset, but this is what happens when you use this method of layering geometry. If you get too close, if the polygons are too close to each other, you get this kind of stuff, and I'm sure you've seen it in video games before. You see this odd flickering triangle somewhere. That's all that is. It's where 2 polygons are fighting for the render priority. Also, I had an issue with the opposite of that too, where the things were too far away from the edge. And I'll show you an image here. I didn't even realize this till I had a light shining directly on these. These numbers were just kind of polygons that are thrown on top, just like the grime. But you can see here that the shadows cast because they're too far away. So you get this issue if you're too far away, and you get this issue here if you're too close. So be careful if you ever do that stuff. It's not the most efficient way of working, but it was the only way I had really to get this done fast at this point, because I'm pretty limited. I couldn't use second UV sets or shaders, specific shaders to do that. So this was pretty much my only option. So grime was all in. Actually, I'll keep that visible. Had some props that I put in as well, some toolboxes, some pipes on the floor, things like this. And also I put a kid's bike, because I wanted this environment to show and to read as a residential area, because that's what it is. People live, like families would live in these units here. I wanted to get that across as quickly and cheaply, I guess, as possible. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. I thought that was a good option to build that. As soon as that gets seen, maybe the connection would be made. Then I went on to simulated stuff, which is like the tape, the biohazard tape, sorry, and we got some pipes that hang down. And I have these fans up here that I should probably mention. I thought they would create like an ambient breeze in here, so I decided to use cloth to have these moving. So there's some cached cloth simulations on these things to allow them to blow around. We also have the same thing on the pipes, and then there's also a hit on this particular pipe right now, which is for a specific scene, so you can ignore that. But yeah, so all those are in there working. We also have some blood that I threw in, and my original idea for using the blood was the same way I was going to do the grime, but I was just going to use the alpha masks from Substance Painter. I was just going to use the ones that come with the program. But I quickly realized that I just didn't want just handprints. I thought maybe some face prints or something on the glass would be pretty cool. So I decided to just make my own. So I hired 2 of my awesome 3 daughters. So this is Zoe, she's 4 years old. This is Lacey, she's 2. And my other daughter is Ava, and she's almost 5 months old. So she was a little bit too young to do this with us. So we could have rolled her in paint, but I don't think she would have liked that very much. We went to the dollar store, got a whole bunch of these poster boards and some, what do you call it, the finger paint, and we went crazy with this stuff. So let me turn the volume down here. It's pretty much what we were doing. We were just literally splatting paint on boards and creating all sorts of crazy, horrific hands. If only they knew what this was for. And then we did our faces as well, and that was a lot of fun. And they came out really well, actually. So we're just pressing our face on these boards in different ways. And this one, for example, was used on the main window on one of the shots. So it was great. I mean, I had paint in my teeth that I can still taste now, even though it was last week. But you know, it really added a lot to the shot. So it was well worth doing that. I really enjoyed doing that with the girls, and they did too. It was nice to include them. We've got some more alphas here that were from the paint. And all I did to these afterwards was chop them up and put them all on texture and just play with the levels in Photoshop to kind of get them all around about the same amount, remove the background. And yeah. And then we turned them into, well, not we, I turned them into textures. Like we've got dry, dead blood kind of color. We've got like a fresh blood one. Just different variations that I could use throughout the series. Probably way more than I needed to get. We've got some splatters. We've got some heavy smears that would be used on the floor, maybe in certain rooms where a body was dragged or something like that. I even had feet, even though I probably won't use them in this, but I don't know, we had the paint, we had the spare cardboard there, so we decided to just print all sorts of stuff. I tested them out in Marmoset just to see if those alphas were going to work, and they looked awesome. They came across really well, so pretty happy with that. Then I moved over to Marmoset and started to render out some of the scenes, export them and that, and bring them in, and I'll play for you right now the same shot from the last video, but with the new environments in it. So nothing's really changed other than the environment stuff. A few camera shots, but you know, I'll just shut up and play it.
Jax, I'm on 5. How do I find this guy? I know he's got gold teeth. 2 of them, I think, right at the front. Bottom, maybe. Yeah, bottom. What? Gold teeth?
Alright, so that's where it's at right now. You can see a few of the shots are really dramatically different, like this one, for example, as he walks into the grasp of death or whatever. Changed the backgrounds. We've got dust in all the shots now. Some of this stuff has been enhanced. This shot in particular has changed quite a bit. It was quite blurry before, but now I'm starting to add in these elements. Like here's that bike, and now that I'm actually looking at this, I'm starting to realize actually this probably isn't enough, because I actually missed it. I didn't even notice the bike as this was playing. I was so focused on it before. So I think I definitely need to add something else to this. And what's coming to mind, this area right here, I could probably put something on the floor, maybe a beer bottle or a, I don't know, maybe a doll, a kid's doll or something. Like Casey, remember Newt in Aliens? She had that little doll, that movie. So I think maybe something like that, like a creepy doll's head with one eye open or something, just kind of sat there. It might help sell this as a residential area. Not sure. Yeah, maybe I need to add something else. Anyways, but make sure you subscribe to this stuff, follow along, because it's starting to get really cool now. Now they've got the video cards. Things are going to move a lot faster. I'm going to be getting to the creatures soon, and hopefully some more of this story animation. And yeah, so it's going to get really sweet soon. So yeah, make sure you follow along for that. One thing I'd love from you guys actually is in the comments below, could you take a look at this one shot here and tell me how, you know, is this looking like a residential area, like some sci-fi residential place? You know, if so, great. If not, what do you think I could do other than maybe add this doll's head here? You know, what can I do to make this look a little bit more like people live here? Because this is the shot that I want to say that to the audience. So anyways, hope you're enjoying all this stuff, and yeah, take care, and I'll put up a video for sure next week. All right, see you guys. Bye.